Dude, thanks for being a part of it.
Thank you for allowing me to. I've been loving the day so far.
Dude, and I think it's really awesome to get to work with somebody like you because you've built such a world and all of these different parts that we can kind of play with, because we've been shooting how many hours? We could keep going kind of forever.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And I think you're specifically really cool, and I'm going into this interview really curious because you operate in this kind of intersection between like heritage luxury, but also like very modern digital content creation, you know? So I'd love to hear from you, getting brands like AP and Laurel Piana. What is it about the Gstaad Guy project that you've created that has brands so interested to want to get more into this, you know, content space and back someone like you?
Thank you for the kind words.
Oh, heck yeah.
I've always loved fiction as a category of media in general. And I think fiction leads most media, books, music, movies. But for some reason on social media, fiction was a very, very small part. But I always felt like I had a very powerful tone of voice, especially when using a comedic language to get strong messages across. And I always thought there was so much absurdity and fun rooted in the world of luxury. Luxury to me, by definition, is not a necessity. So it should be taken lightly, it should be smiled at, and it should be enjoyed. And I realized that there were these two opposing powers in the world of luxury. There was the world of heritage, fighting against the world of newness and timeliness and hype. And there's the world of old money balancing against the world of new money. And there's the world of tonality and simplicity and Laurel Piana pushing against the color, vibrancy, hype, and even logo of my character Colton. And these two dimensions I felt could be two extreme people, but also could be two feelings within the same person. And I know that many of my friends growing up would be kind of like Colton on a Friday night. They want to go out and party and have a good time and wear logos and wear crazy things and express and be fluid with their identity that day. But then on a Sunday morning, they want to be more preppy, more refined, and they want to be a different version of self. And those two characters, I tried to focus on a subset of people, which happen to be high net worth people who much of the time consume luxury goods, products, services for a living. So they're like professional consumers. They have so much disposable income and spare time that they actually become experts in consumption and shopping and eating. And I was just fascinated by these Constance types, these connoisseurs that are so stuck in their ways of only consuming one or two brands from every category. If they love watches, they love Audemars Piguet or Patek Philippe. If they love clothes, they love Laurel Piana or Hermes. If they love cars, there's two or three brands they love, maybe Bentley or Porsche. And it's really hard to change their mind. And on the opposing side, there's a Colton who's always open to new suggestions, new products, new things, whatever's hype. If a celebrity's wearing it, he's onboarded. So I noticed this, started studying these polarizing characters and feelings, and use the language of comedy and the tone of voice of comedy with the vehicle of social media to talk about something that I felt people had spoken about at dinner for years, but I felt like it never really made it to social media before. Sorry, it's a long-winded answer.
No, that's beautiful, man. No, it's so cool hearing you talk about it. And it's awesome because a lot of my curiosities and questions kind of got answered from what you just said. It's so clear you have this is so well thought out for you, and it seems like a lot of this is a little bit of a need, you know what I mean, in the space, right? Being able to communicate luxury the way that you have, right? I love what you kind of touch on where like, you know, hits a point where consumption kind of is a form of expression and these different identities, and I think you kind of teach people that with the characters between Constance and Colton, you know? I would love to hear, even in just the design work with the characters, what was the process like kind of building it? I mean, you touched on it, right? Like friends that you have or whatever, but literally what did it sound like in your head fleshing out Constance and fleshing out Colton as you were going through the content creation?
I've always been a very observant person. Ever since I was a kid, I'd walk into rooms and try to understand social dynamics. Like, why are people gravitating towards that person and why is this person left out? And all the different social dynamics that go into a room. And I started to realize that there was these patterns that could be in ways of speaking, in ways of being, but also in ways people consume. And people who bought X, Y, and Z product, more often than not, acted in X, Y, and Z way. Of course, there's always exceptions, but if I can't think generally in this archetyping exercise, I can't really think at all. So I started archetyping and figuring out who is this connoisseur, this person addicted to excellence, this Gstaad guy. And I met them growing up, I met them at times in passing, and I'd be fascinated by the ways that the ones that had all the advice in their friend group, they're the ones that had all the tips to the best restaurants, best holiday destinations, best products to buy, and they really were these experts in their communities. And that's the Gstaad guy, it's this person addicted to excellence. And I formed the character by studying real life Gstaad guys and Gstaad girls. And it kind of expanded from there, and I'd say that's 80% of the storytelling is in the voice and in the tonality of Constance, the Gstaad guy, and his cousin Colton was introduced to provide contrasts. Contrast in feelings within one person, because people can feel like both Constance and Colton, or contrasts in society. And what is Colton? It's kind of everything that Constance isn't. You know, Constance is timeless, Colton is timely. Constance is substance, Colton is status. And it's like these opposing energies, and I think they're real life pushes and pulls within friend groups, within families, and within society under the umbrella of luxury consumers. So it really starts with observation. I see a new trend come up, like the whole sauna and cold plunge thing, for example, and I'll fit that into my content. And just by observing people, the characters have developed over time.
That's beautiful. I think it's so cool how it's less like you're kind of sitting there and kind of just making things up, but you're more so building these off of the research you do, like within luxury, right? And it kind of develops itself. Like what you said with fiction too, you're kind of poking fun at it. There's always been like a level of satire between the characters, it seems like.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense why so many people are connecting to your work, because you are so studied and like built into this world. Like this is the world that you live in, and I'd love to hear more about, you touched on it, but how you define luxury. I like what you said, it's kind of inherently something that you don't necessarily need. Can you define that a little more, and just how you, like what luxury is to you?
Yeah. Luxury to me is this sense of comfort. Could be literal physical comfort in a hotel stay, or it could be comfort in consumption. But if I want to get more philosophic about it, it could even be quite Freudian, and level of comfort like being in the womb and like being cared for. If you think of the best hotels and best restaurants, they kind of know you better than you know yourself. And you feel warm, you feel fed, you feel taken care of. And I think at the core, the best luxuries kind of fit into that. They make us feel like our baby selves. In my definition of luxury, of course, there are elements of status involved where people can perceive you in a different way. But I think that perception is all with the desire, ultimately, for comfort again. So I think luxury fits into this category of comfort generally.
I'm kind of sitting here processing, because I've never heard it framed like that. I think that's so beautiful, because I think when you think luxury, a lot of people want to use words like premium and the quality is good. But you're right, there's kind of this extra mile in luxury. There's this like extra rendering of nurturing a product or a person towards a lot of people. It's like, okay, this works, ship it, right? But it seems like on these higher end products, there's a lot of like, okay, this works, but like, what's the extra thing? Like, what's the extra few miles? I think that's in the hospitality aspect, like what you said too. It's like, yeah, they have a place to stay, but like, did we accommodate for them? Do we know their favorite drink? Do we know their favorite whatever?
Exactly.
And I'd love to hear how that's carried over into you designing your brand as well, your jewelry brand. Can I hear more about the philosophy into going into that?
For sure. I realized that my jokes and my humor online were bringing people together somehow. It could be the joke itself, could be some of the interests I was discussing, but people would bring up one of these inside jokes or inside hobbies and build closer connections. And I felt that even happening in real life. If you and I cross paths in the street, we'll get much closer once we realize that we share interests, share hobbies, and the more niche the interest or hobby, the closer of a bond we'll feel, because it'll feel more and more unique. And I realized that I was talking about lots of these niche things through the language of humor most of the time. And people would really think, wow, like Gstaad Guy gets me, or Constance gets me, or Colton gets me. And I wanted people to be able to wear those interests, those hobbies, and wear the things that define them, no matter how playful or how serious they are. And I realized the charm bracelet was that for the past 100 years. But charm bracelets had been very youthful, very narrowly focused on things you can read on a resume, like date of birth and initials, and less focused on these kind of nuanced interests and very niche interests and beliefs. So I wanted to reinvent the charm bracelet to allow people to wear the things that they're proud to express about themselves and to really further expression, especially in jewelry, which I found was getting quite minimalist, especially for men. And I really just wanted the product for myself. So I came up with Poubelle, which is a modernized version of the charm bracelet, starting with myself as the customer and then expanding from there. And now we have over 400 charms. People can wear themselves and gift someone what they believe defines them as well. So nearly 30% of our customers are gifters. And I think that's an awesome thing as well, because there's no better gift than the gift of someone telling you how well they know you and understand you. And I think that's a big part of what we do.
Totally. Yeah, just showing like an understanding of like what they love and what they think. Your evil eye bracelet was beautiful. That's something that my mom always made sure we wore growing up, like the warding off evil spirits and everything. And I love I'm hearing a little bit of overlap, but I'd love to hear from you, your design process of working with like Poubelle and then Constance and Colton. Mm-hmm. What's similar when you're designing these two very different mediums, and what's maybe different that you're not allowed to do in this space that you get to do in this one?
It's a great question. On the content side, when I'm archetyping, I'm really trying to focus on these two characters. When I'm designing for the jewelry, I'm actually archetyping 50 or more categories of person that I think are the perfect Poubelle customer. For example, I thought of the finance bro. Neither Constance or Colton are finance bros, but I know that the finance bros happen to follow Gstaad Guy. So I made the finance bro vest, I made the upwards facing chart, I made a American Express black card inspired Poubelle card, and all the charms that would accurately express who that finance bro is. Ultimately, the customer and people around the world are far more nuanced than that. I don't think we've ever designed an exact product for an archetype and ever had a person specifically buy that. I think humans are complex beings, and they're like 20% finance bro, 20% matcha lover, Pilates lover, animal lover, and they love the mountains and the sea, and they end up mixing all these charms together, and ultimately there's actually little overlap in the final product that people end up customizing. And my job is really just to give them access to as many elements that they can resonate with to come up with the Poubelle set that best expresses who they are. So we have a virtual customizer online, and all the charms are categorized into these archetypes, but most people only pick one charm from every category, which means we can't bucket people, and people are a bit of everything.
It's so cool hearing your philosophy and luxury be carried out through your work too, right? Because it seems like, I mean, for one, with Poubelle, it seems you're very service-based. It's a lot of like, hey, who needs to be seen, who needs to be whatever. But even in your work of like Constance, Colton, and the jewelry brand, it seems there is a lot of these bids of you like showing your understanding of something, or having something be either understood more by the audience, or they feel more understood, like you said, with the gifts. So it's I don't know, it's really cool for me. It's like mind-bending hearing you.
Thank you.
Reframe luxury in my head, you know? And you have a collaboration coming up as well, you know? Because we can talk about that, right?
Yeah.
That's cleared? Okay, sick. Okay, cool. You have a collaboration coming up. Can we hear more about it?
Of course. So over the past few years, I've been working on this for 8 years now on Gstaad Guy. I defined the what of Gstaad Guy and the how of Gstaad Guy very clearly. Like, what does this type of person consume? It's all quite clear. How do they consume? With the manners and the intricacies involved, I've made that quite clear. The past 2 years, I've focused a lot on the why, because I felt people were sitting at dinners and questioning, why am I even here? I'd rather be at home. Why am I even with these friends? I'd rather be with these other friends. And I was just carrying those conversations into the digital form as I felt people started to question consumerism. But there was one category of consumption that I felt was so true to the character that I had still never communicated. And that's automotive. And I would say it's kind of like my final what. And my character is very clear on his favorite watches, favorite clothes to wear, favorite destinations to travel to. And he's been seen a lot in Bentleys, different Bentleys for different climates. And I really wanted to make the perfect Bentley for the Gstaad Guy. And the Gstaad Guy is obsessed with his chalet, his beautiful mountain cottage, which keeps him warm, like my definition of luxury. It cocoons him, it's safe, it knows him, it takes care of him. So what's more Gstaad Guy than a chalet on wheels? And I came up with the idea about 3 years ago now with the Bentley team to put together the perfect Bentley for a Gstaad Guy, which is called the Chalet.
Dude, that's insane.
It's really insane.
Oh my God.
It really is insane. It's I think it's the final what of my puzzle, and it's the Chalet based on the chassis of a Bentayga. Only 25 units to be made, 24 to be sold because one is mine. And it looks like a chalet, and it feels like a chalet. And I'm excited for people to feel as cozy on the road as they might in their own chalets.
That's insane, man. When does this come out?
This comes out next month in May. May 13th is the launch event in London.
Dude, how does it feel having this? Like, how would you 8 years ago, at that last job feel knowing this is kind of what it came to?
What's kind of crazy is that when I started Gstaad Guy and I had a day job, I had a boss who was just the best. Her name was Ashna. And she used to, as part of my work, make me make vision boards. And they didn't have anything to do with the work. She just wanted me to be inspired at my desk all day, every day. And on my first vision board in 2019, which is year 2 of Gstaad Guy, I had a Bentley Bentayga on my vision board.
Really?
Yeah, it's my dream car. So it feels like a surprise, but it also feels like it's been part of the plan. It's like this weird thing that I think many dreamers can feel. I think I've always been a dreamer, I've always been a daydreamer. So it feels surreal, but it also feels like it's something I slowly work towards. So it feels satisfying, but also surprising. It's this strange feeling.
Totally. Yeah, it's just like self-fulfilling prophecy, like there's an inevitability to it towards like, of course, probably feels good because you're like,
Exactly.
holy shit, I did that. You know what I mean? But it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, like you saw it in your head that long ago,
Yeah.
Well, congrats, man.
Thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much. Thank you.
Do you have any closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts. Continue dreaming. I think during a busy week when I'm following my calendar versus following my thoughts or following my dreams in any capacity, I feel lost. But if I give myself an hour to just dream, even if it's 10 minutes in the shower and 10 minutes on a walk and 10 minutes just lying, somehow the clarity comes back. So for all the daydreamers out there who try to kill their dreams with focus, I would be careful with that.
Damn, I needed to hear that. That was really beautiful. Holy shit, man. Thanks,
you.
man. Dude,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dude,
I appreciate you. Thank you for the time.
Okay, wrap. Oh man, that was
Awesome.
so good.
Yeah?
You're mesmerizing to listen to, man. You're
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, the way your mind works, it's really poetic.
Thank you so
It's
much.
really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you probably know that, but yeah.
I
You
appreciate
said
it.
outside.
It means a lot.